All right, guys, so welcome back to another video, and this one is going to be kind of different than my traditional videos, which I do. This is going to be about James Gunn's announcement for his DC slate of movies, and this is pretty exciting. I kind of wanted to do a reaction and talk about this because even though I'm not really a movie channel, even though I collect movies, this is something which I think impacts us all because as toy collectors, this is going to spawn all sorts of new toys, and obviously we care about these characters as a lot of us collect the DC McFarlane figures, so this definitely ties into nerdy culture, so to speak. So I definitely wanted to go over this, and I'm not going to do this for too long, but I definitely wanted to kind of go over these announcements and let you know my thoughts and also your thoughts. So please be sure to leave them in the comments. So anyways, so James Gunn today announced that his slate of DC is going to be called Gods and Monsters. He called it Chapter 1, and it's going to incorporate film, gaming, TV, and animation, which will all be connected. So there's going to be movies related to this, there's going to be video games all tied to this, and TV. Now, as far as TV is concerned, it sounds like he's going to be doing shows for HBO Max. So these are not going to be CW shows. So they're going to be darker, R-rated HBO Max type shows, which I'm definitely all for. I think that's going to be awesome. There's going to be animated shows also on HBO Max, and it's all going to tie together, which could be cool. He also talked about that there's going to be what he called Elseworlds projects, which are going to be the Matt Reeves Batman sequel and the Todd Phillips Joker sequel. Those are not going to be part of the DCU continuity. They're going to be what's considered Elseworlds. So I think it ultimately might be a little confusing because there's going to be multiple actors playing these same characters kind of at the same time. Some in the Elseworlds, some in the DCU continuity. So with that, I don't know how I totally feel about that, but it is what it is. As long as they put out good stuff, that's all I care about. Just give us good movies. Don't give us crap like, half the DC slate has been to date. So anyways, he said that the next 4 movies that are coming out, which are kind of under the old regime, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, he said will ultimately connect to this new DCU universe. So that's interesting. He also said that the movie after that, which is The Flash, is the one that's going to kind of reset everything through the multiverse. So that's going to be where the soft reboot actually happens. And he did say that Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, even Ezra Miller could potentially come back in the future as these characters. So not exactly sure how that's going to work, where they're picking and choosing what to keep from the old universe. But I guess if it's a multiverse story, if it almost... who knows how it's going to happen. Again, as long as it's good and as long as it makes sense. After that is going to be Blue Beetle, which... sounds like it's kind of a smaller scale movie. It's going to star, I don't remember his name now. He plays Miguel on Cobra Kai. He's going to play Blue Beetle. So that could be interesting. And ultimately, he said the last one, which will lead into all the next projects, is Aquaman 2. Again, not sure how it's going to lead into this new DCU continuity, but that's what he said is going to happen. So the first project in this new DCU is going to be something called Creature Commandos, which is going to be an animated series on HBO Max. He didn't give us a whole lot of details about this or what these characters are, but he said these characters will actually kind of bounce back and forth between live action and animated, and the actors that do the voices are actually going to be the actors that play them live action. So that could be cool. So obviously they're not going to just get voice actors, they're going to get actors that can pull this off in live action. So that potentially could be interesting. The next thing which is interesting, the next show, I believe it's a show, he wasn't clear on this, is going to be Waller, is starring Viola Davis. And she was the character that appeared in both Suicide Squad movies, and she was in Peacemaker. So that it could be cool, but again, it's part of the new DCU. It's a character from the old they're bringing into the new, so not exactly sure how that's going to play out. But this is where he said the characters from Peacemaker will live on. Peacemaker is not getting a season 2, but the characters from that are going to be in the Waller show. I believe it's a show. So next, he said this is where everything really kicks off for the new DCU, and it's coming out on July 11th of 2025, so 2.5 years from now. So still a ways away, but we got a lot of things to finish up this year. It sounds like there's going to be some shows leading into this big project, and it's Superman Legacy, which they used a thumbnail for it from All-Star Superman, and James Gunn basically said that it's going to be a young Superman story where Superman is still trying to basically balance his life as a young man from Smallville with being a larger-than-life hero. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully it doesn't follow All-Star Superman exactly, because that ends with Superman's death, sort of. But again, hopefully in the very first Superman movie in this universe, they don't kill off Superman. Ultimately is what I'm saying. But overall, the story was really good. It's a great Grant Morrison story. So hopefully that's good. Next after that, and this is probably one of the things which I'm most excited for, is going to be Lanterns on HBO, which is going to be a Green Lantern show focusing on both Hal Jordan and John Stewart, which is awesome, where they basically are going to play intergalactic cops, as they were described, that are trying to unravel some kind of mystery happening on Earth that's tied to the larger story of the DCU. So that could be really cool. That sounds really interesting. Hopefully it's not really campy and it takes itself seriously. That's the thing. It's like campiness is fine, but it needs to be in the right place. Like I could see campiness with like the Blue Beetle, something like that, with Shazam. With Green Lantern, if you're going to do like a detective story in a true detective kind of way, which is how they described, not sure where the campiness would fit in with that. So hopefully they do it justice. Hopefully it's done well, and I'm excited for that. After that, there's going to be something called The Authority, which I'm not too familiar with. It sounds like this is going to be a movie, and it sounds like it's basically a superhero team kind of in the Watchmen mold, where they're sort of like the Watchmen, a little bit Suicide Squad. Basically, they kind of do the dirty work, and they are not like traditional heroes that are, truth, justice, in the American way kind of thing, where they're a little darker, grittier, probably not afraid to kill. So hopefully that could be something interesting. So don't know much about that, but has potential. After that is something called Paradise Lost, which is going to be a show on HBO Max. And basically it is going to focus on the Amazon's island. So from what it sounds like, it's kind of a prequel to Wonder Woman. And they said it's going to be a show which is going to have a Game of Thrones kind of feel to it, which, hey, if that could be awesome. Game of Thrones with Amazons, yeah, that could be pretty freaking cool. So I'm definitely excited for that one. That should be awesome. Hopefully they do a good job with this. Next, and this is probably the second big pillar of the DCU, which is happening, it's going to be a Batman Brave and the Bold. And I think this is going to be a movie. Again, they weren't really clear as to what's going to be movies or TV, but I think this is going to be a movie. And this is going to focus on Batman and his son, Damian Wayne, who Bruce Wayne had with Talia al Ghul, and he didn't even know that the son existed. The son basically was raised by the League of Shadows until he was like age 10, and then Talia brought him to Bruce, and Bruce made him Robin, but he's kind of a crazy renegade Robin. Bruce basically has to sort of tame him, so that's kind of cool. Next is going to be Booster Gold, and this is going to be a show. This is going to be more of a comedy show. Basically, from a Booster Gold is a type of character where he came from the future. He's kind of a loser from the future. He then steals like a time machine, comes back to the past, and tries to be a hero. So that's where I think the campiness and that kind of thing could definitely happen. And after that, they're going to be doing a Supergirl movie called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which they're going to try to differentiate her from Superman, where she's going to be kind of again, more of a darker character, where she is going to basically survive the destruction of Krypton and be sent to Earth as a young woman to protect and watch over Kal-El. So Kal-El, who was raised on Earth from infancy, is going to not have that baggage that she's going to have as a result of knowing and seeing the destruction of Krypton. So that could definitely have an interesting dynamic to it. And last but not least, and this I'm super excited for because I think this could be awesome, is going to be Swamp Thing. And this is going to be a movie. And they said it's going to be like a horror movie. Swamp Thing is freaking awesome. The 1982 movie was great. Done by Wes Craven before he did Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved the original Swamp Thing movie. So overall, it is exciting, everything that they announced. But I'm tentative with it because I just don't know how they're going to make it all work and connect. And I ultimately am kind of upset that they got rid of Henry Cavill. I was a big fan of his as Superman, but they want to go younger. Henry Cavill's already 40 years old, and they basically want somebody that can play the role for at least another 10 years. So from that standpoint, I get it. Tentatively excited, and James Gunn, for the most part, has done good work. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies, especially the first one, was great. His Suicide Squad movie was pretty good, and The Peacemaker was fantastic. So the guy obviously has a love for superheroes, and he's definitely going to at least do his best to do a good job on all of this. And this is not going to be just some kind of a corporate creation. This is going to be done by a guy who loves these characters. From that standpoint, that's a good thing. But anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. What do you guys think about all these announcements for this new DCU movie universe and TV universe, everything that they're creating? The first chapter, as I said, is going to be called Gods and Monsters. Could definitely be cool. So I'm excited for it. Let me know your thoughts. Till next time, take care.